I don't know, but I think you guys should I think I should change my name to like the Hitmaker or something, because I've just been going back to back on LinkedIn. This week I was also named Fave Icons. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Rising Star. I'll put a screenshot of that somewhere here. And they really highlighted that I've gained 18,000 followers over on LinkedIn in just a month. And if you don't understand LinkedIn, you probably don't understand how 18,000 followers is a really, really, really big number on LinkedIn. And that connection has led to a lot of deal flow, a lot of activity, and probably one of the biggest ones that I've had. So I did a whole post the other day breaking down the one viral post that got me all this motion. I got around 8 million organic impressions on that. It's my biggest post today. So if you want to see exactly how I wrote all that out, how I used AI to support me in writing it, go look at that. I just wrote it in February of 2025, right after the Super Bowl. But since then, what I've been studying is the framework of that post, why that post worked, why that post got views. And every week since then, I've been getting at least 1 million organic impressions. Now, this is in a time where I'm seeing a lot of people talk about LinkedIn and that it's not working anymore and that reach is down. And I've just quietly been sitting back being like, I'm still getting 1 million organic impressions every week. And generally those millions of impressions are coming from 1 to 2 posts that I'm making every week. What I wanted to do in this video before I get on this flight is break down the framework of the posts that are generating me these millions of impressions. Now, I will give it a little bit of a disclaimer. This is not my only style of posting. If you go check out my LinkedIn, you'll see different types of posts that don't follow this framework, and that's for a reason, and I will do videos on those posts as well. But I first wanted to start with these ones that are generating millions of organic impressions, leading to so many deals, so much open opportunity, right? Because they're just hitting so many people. So with that, let's get into this framework. So I made this guide the other day for our clients. What I like to do is whenever I'm working on something or testing something, I like to just throw out my thoughts and try to make some sort of framework for our clients so that they can replicate exactly what I'm doing and our teams can replicate exactly what I'm doing for the clients that we are doing these things for. And so for these posts, again, these are the posts solely to reach millions of people. Casey, why do you want to reach millions of people? Because if my fishnet is really, really wide and I can get in front of millions of people, I can impact millions of people, I can change the thought processes of millions of people, then my personal brand is growing stronger every day. I'm getting more business opportunity, I'm getting more deals, I'm getting more leads, more conversations. And so that is why I personally want to reach millions of people. If you don't want to reach millions of people, then just log out right now. So the L.O.O.K framework, it's really, really simple, but it is necessary, especially for the posts that you want to put out in the world that you want to generate millions of views. So the first thing that you have is lead with a hook, right? Lead with a hook. The first 2 lines, right? The reason I'll say 2 lines is because generally on my post too, you'll see that I do a line break, right? Some people do a full sentence, but I actually like to do this line break. So let me bring this up for you. This is the first line, or I guess this is the first 2 lines, right? But this is kind of what I'm talking about here when I'm saying that this needs to be a hook. It needs to hook people in. Why? Let me just refresh this screen so you guys can see this. And I'm showing you a post right now that I just did last week. And so as you can see, this is what people will see. And then they will have to click see more, right? But this is all they will see. And a lot of people, this is your most precious real estate. So just as we say on YouTube, you really need to focus on your thumbnail and your titles. On short form video, you really need to focus on that first 0.5 seconds to visually hook somebody and to articulate some sort of like overlay that hooks somebody, right? Here on LinkedIn, you really have to prioritize your first line or your first 2 lines. So many people miss this because what happens here, right? As soon as you click see more, LinkedIn starts saying, oh, a lot of people are spending time on this post. Let's push Casey's post to more people because these platforms just want people to stay on their platform longer, right? And so if I have a post where people are clicking see more, that generally means that I made a pretty good post that people are interacting with and viewing. And so LinkedIn is going to help me out and also push it to more people. So number 1, lead with a hook. The first, let's put this in parentheses, the first 2 lines or the first line must grab people's attention immediately. So one of the things that I like to do with my hooks tactically is use probably like 2 of the 5 C's. The 2 C's that I like to use a lot are confusion and controversy. You'll also see that sometimes I sprinkle in contradiction in there, but I'm using these to evoke some sort of emotion in the reader where they're like, what are you talking about, right? And they have to click see more. Because again, that signal is huge to LinkedIn if people are clicking see more, that this is a pretty good post, right? And so please optimize and lead with that hook. Something else that you need to pay attention to, if you have an image, please spend 60% of your time thinking about what is this first line going to say and what is that image going to be. Whether it's a selfie of you or like I have here, a picture of Issa Rae, please optimize that photo to be scroll stopping, right? There were so many pictures I could have chose of Issa Rae, but I chose her with this magazine, right? This post has nothing to do with this Times article, but I thought it was super eye-catching and fit, right? For me too, another thing that I looked at is because this photo takes up so much room, a lot of photos, right, I use will be horizontal, but because this photo is so vertical, it pops really hard. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a really good photo. And so please lead with the hook. Think about your first 2 lines and also think about that image that you are going to use and really optimize it for this platform. Next of the look is the offer context. And if you want this whole guide, because I won't go through all the specifics in this guide, just let me know in the comments below and I'll send it over to you. The next thing that we have here is the offer or the story or more context to this actual post. So again, we lead with the hook, we get people to click see more, and then we give the story. This is a huge piece that people miss. You will see me tell story in generally probably every post, whether I'm talking about a client, whether I'm talking about myself, whether I'm talking about somebody else, I lead with story. And you should too. Storytelling is the biggest unlock to generating millions of views, reaching millions of people. But also the number one thing that I'm focused on is impact, right? I want to impact enough people where people start posting their own content. And so story is a way to hook those people in. And then here towards the end, you'll see where I drive the impact. But for the next thing that you have to do is build story, right? Give more context. And so you can see that's exactly what I'm doing here. And you'll see this in other posts that I have as well. Next thing of the O is takeaways, right? Outline key takeaways. You will see that I generally do that here. You'll see that I have a shift. I also, one thing that I will call out, I love to use stats and research and stuff. And so you'll see this whole top part of this post is the story and the context, right? You can see I literally say context here, and then you will start seeing me transition into the takeaway. I always tell our clients, one of the biggest mistakes that people make before they click publish is that they don't think about what is the takeaway or transformation for the person reading this or listening to this video, right? They just click publish and that just becomes a post that really doesn't help anyone, but maybe told a good story, right? But doesn't have a good takeaway and transformation. Personal brands, strong personal brands, have takeaways / transformations for the person on the other side of that screen. Whether they're reading a post or watching a video, it is going to impact somebody in a way that is going to change their thought process, that is going to get them to take action, right? And so that's what I'm doing at the end of each post. I have some sort of takeaway for the reader. So you can see this. The blueprint is hiding in plain sight. The thing that you're most hesitant to do might be your biggest opportunity. Your personal visibility isn't about ego, it's a business accelerator. The camera doesn't require perfection, it requires authenticity. Sometimes the most powerful pivot is the one that you fear the most. Ray leveraged her personal brand into at least 6 separate businesses, proving visibility is a multiplier. And so again, I'm telling all this story about Issa Rae, and then here at the end, I have the takeaways for the viewer. Now that we've understood the story, right? Now that you've learned about Issa Rae, what should you be taking away from this post? Here it is, right? So that's the second O in this look framework. The last letter in this framework is keep the conversation going. Keep the conversation going. Now, this is probably one of my favorite pieces of this, and it is something that I realized in that Serena Williams post that I did that blew up and got 8 million impressions. When I was studying, why did this work? I realized that this is something that I did in that post that I don't always do in a lot of posts. But now, after I figured out what works, right, I try to now do this in more posts. And so you can even see in this post, I try to keep the conversation going. Sometimes I do this with a PS statement, but But even here, what I started to do is ask some questions, right? Now, these aren't like direct questions that people need to answer, but it gets people thinking. And then what you'll see, even in the comments, it gets people reflecting on these questions and posting their answers or their thoughts in the comments. Another way to do this is, even if you don't use it like this, how I'm asking questions here. How many opportunities are you missing because you're waiting for someone else to be the face? How many customers never connect with your business because they can't connect with you, right? So I'm asking these questions here. Another thing you'll see me do is leverage this PS statement. Most of my LinkedIn posts have PS statements, and how I use the PS is to either keep the conversation going and or to just hone in on a point, right? I also use the comments. I probably didn't use it here, but I use the comment section to keep the conversation going as well if I just miss it in this post or if it doesn't fit in this post. And so what I'll do after I make the post is I'll go into the comment section and leave another question, or I'll add on some more thoughts that may keep some conversation going. But the biggest unlock for this is that people will start commenting, right? As more people comment and you comment back to those people, please comment back to everybody as much as you can. LinkedIn, again, will start seeing signals that not only the people click see more to your post, right? They actually started engaging with it. And LinkedIn or any of these platforms will start helping you out more, pushing it to more people. All right, so that's the L.O.O.K framework. And again, I'm using this mostly for the posts that I want to reach millions of people. We have different strategy for the posts, for other posts, but this is solely for the posts that I want to reach millions of people. And again, I've been generating 1 million views a week right now, and I'm leading with the hook, offer context and story, outline your key takeaways, and then keep the conversation going. With that, everybody, I'm about to get on my flight to India. It's 4 a.m. right now, so I'm about to head out to the airport. If you like this, if you like these more kind of like tactical videos, let me know. Let me know what questions you all have, and I'll see you on the next one.